House lawmakers are split on a Senate-passed trillion-dollar infrastructure deal. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House, where President Biden needs more Democratic buy-in for the measure to pass.
Also, you know the song verse, sing it with me. We got a great big convoy, and we got it all for a good cause.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Medical Lodge in Girard, Kansas moves 19 residents to its Frontenac location. Thank you for joining us on the KOAM News at Noon. I'm Michael Hayslip. Medical Lodge officials say the move stems from a worker shortage, a problem for a lot of businesses and an issue we're covering in reports titled Making It Work. KOAM's own Bronte Sorotsky has more on the Medical Lodge situation.
In a statement that Medical Lodges sent to KOAM, we were informed that an ongoing worker shortage was the reason for the move, and that this will ensure residents will continue to receive the necessary care and services. They responded that the move went smoothly and that all Medical Lodge Girard residents who were moved arrived at the Frontenac location on Wednesday afternoon. We also heard from some on Facebook who were personally affected by the situation, who said that their grandfather was one of the 19 moved and that they felt the move was handled incorrectly. Medical Lodges added that the close proximity has also allowed remaining employees from Medical Lodges in Girard to transfer to the Frontenac location along with the residents.
We reached out to Medical Lodges to see if their vaccine mandate had any impact on the staffing shortages, but have not yet heard back. Cox Hospital in Monette, Missouri held a community wellness event trying to get people to check up on themselves. For the past 9 years, the hospital's been holding these wellness events for the community, although COVID obviously has changed the way they look recently. Officials say they had more than 50 people lined up at the door before the clinic even opened for the event. Clinic offered blood screenings as well as COVID-19 vaccines with the goal of getting people to get a checkup that they may have been otherwise putting off.
So we just needed people to understand that even though COVID is going on and things might seem overwhelming because of that all the other things in life are still going on also. And so we want them to know their numbers, be proactive in their health care, and to get out there and do their preventative treatments.
Hobson adds you have to call this a success. They managed to catch a number of illnesses and warn patients of potential health dangers through these screenings. A Carl Junction man is dead following an early morning crash just south of the community. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, around 3:15, 33-year-old Russell Asbell was driving on Highway JJ south of Carl Junction when his car ran off the roadway, struck a post, and overturned, ejecting Asbell. Asbell was taken to Freeman West, where he later died from his injuries. Over the weekend, volunteers spent the day making Carthage lawns look a little bit different than they were before. Volunteers from the National Honor Society, Boy Scouts, and Habitat for Humanity spent the day beautifying Carthage lawns, helped improve the community's appearance, which is one of the goals set by the city of Carthage. Those other goals include revitalizing and restoring the community. Now, here's the thing. It was a wonderful weekend to be out and about doing a whole bunch of yard work, but now, okay, you've got the brush piled up. What do you do with it? Do me a favor. Don't be tempted to light it on fire outside today. And I'm going to break down why as we take a live look over 7th and Rangeline. It's a warm one, number one, but 2 factors come into play here when we talk about serious fire conditions. Number 1 is going to be our wind coming in at 17 miles per hour. That's not a gust, that is sustained. Number 2, that humidity never got above 70%, even this morning. Now we've seen it drop all the way down to 40% as far as what we're looking at temperature-wise. Really anything from about 80 that we see in Cassville up to a bunch of 86s out in southeast Kansas, Parsons, Chanute, and Yodeschay Independence. Miami sits at 80, and Pittsburgh right now at 82. It is going to be a little bit of a blustery one as the winds will continue to track in. As a matter of fact, we've already picked up 23 mile-an-hour winds out in Chanute. As we look at our weather trend for today, yeah, a little bit warmer than what we'd anticipate for the end of September. Average high this time of year, about 78, 79. We'll go about 10, 11 degrees warmer than that, up close to 90 by the time we get to the afternoon. And you go, okay, so I'll just wait till tomorrow and get rid of the brush. You know, maybe Wednesday. Let's hold off till Wednesday. because Tuesday we're actually going to rinse and repeat back up into the high 80s with a good south wind. Now, everything is going to shift here by the time we get to Wednesday. We start to see the precipitation work in from the south. And what that means is thunderstorm activity for Wednesday afternoon and evening should be done by Thursday morning. Thursday morning commute should be okay. But you'll also notice cooler temperatures as we start October. Coming up here in just a little bit, we'll talk exactly why the jet stream is going to flip on us. And also, too, we've got to check in on Hurricane Sam, now a Category 4, as it bears down on Puerto Rico. Topping Nation Watch, this could be a decisive week for President Biden's legislative agenda. The roughly $1 trillion infrastructure package, which has already been passed in the Senate, today begins to make its way through the House of Representatives. Skylar Henry breaks down the stakes. He's at the White House.
The House begins debate today on a nearly $1 trillion infrastructure package.
You know, I'm never bringing a bill to the floor that doesn't have the votes.
However, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has pushed back the vote on the bill from this afternoon until Thursday as she attempts to shore up support for the plan. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, the head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, says she has at least 60 votes to block the infrastructure bill. Progressive Democrats are demanding the House and Senate first pass a $3.5 trillion spending bill that includes new funding for the child tax credit, universal pre-K, home health care, and much more.
If somebody wants less than $3.5 trillion, tell us what you want to cut. Do you want to cut the child care? Do you want to cut paid leave? What is it you want to cut? And then let's figure it out from there.
Last night, two moderate House Democrats announced they would support the spending bill to get infrastructure passed. With Democrats holding a slim majority in the House and an even 50-50 split in the Senate, President Biden needs even more Democratic support if he hopes to pass either bill.
I'm optimistic about this week. It's going to take the better part of the week, I think.
Republicans are unanimous in their opposition to more spending.
They are in the midst of an absolutely unprecedented, very damaging spending spree on a scale that we have never seen.
Some Democrats agree they'll likely have to cut the price tag down from $3.5 trillion in order to get it passed. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Republicans say they will also not support an increase in the spending limit. That could lead to a government shutdown. It's a measure that pays for spending already authorized by Congress and does not cover either the infrastructure bill nor the spending bill being now debated on Capitol Hill. That is a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up next on the KOAM News at noon, the search for Gabby Petito's fiancé scaled back, and it's now the subject of race that's being brought into her murder and search. 4 states.